And now getting your kids to actually read books.
Yeah, generations of Canadian children have been excited and inspired by books, but recent studies suggest the number of kids who say they enjoy reading has actually decreased. The people behind National Book Day are hoping to change that by promoting reading, as well as a love of learning. The May issue of Canadian Family magazine has some tips and tricks for parents to get their kids to pick up those books. And here to share some of that advice now is Editor-in-Chief of Canadian Family, Jennifer Reynolds, with a lot of books to hear to talk about. But, but it is critical that the kids get started early, that those are habits that form as soon as they can read or as they're learning to read.
That's right. If we can introduce fun books from the very beginning, we know that we're going to have lifelong readers. And there's no excuse not to. There's so many amazing books that are out there too. We can go to our local libraries and take out an amazing selection. And today we just brought, some of our favorites. And it was really hard to narrow it down.
I don't know how you narrow it down, but you did, just for the purposes, and it's important that it's fun for them to begin with too, because that'll make them pick up that second book. So you've got a couple of choices that you've made for the kind of getting started and really jumping into it. That's
right. Well, for new readers, Fly Guy is an amazing book. This is a fun book right here. It has great illustrations. I mean, who doesn't want to read about a bug with,
Look at
big,
the cover.
huge, I know. And it is as fun as that cover looks, too. So the illustrations are...
So Fly Guy goes on an action-packed adventure by boat, train, plane, and beyond.
That's right.
There's got to be an and beyond.
Exactly. There's a whole series, so we can follow lots of adventures of Fly Guy. And it has short, small words so the kids can read themselves. And one of the great tips with new readers is to read one page together and let them read one page on their own. So it just helps them keep the momentum of reading that book.
And they don't take too long with one thing.
Exactly.
And this book here in the center?
Chloe is an amazing character. She's very much like Olivia the pig. She's very precocious and she likes to solve problems. She's very adventurous. You can just tell by this illustration. So this is a great book for school-age readers. 6 to 9, they can read through the whole thing, read it lots of different times and get lots of things out of the story. So it's definitely a Canadian Family top
pick. And then this one looks for a little bit more advanced, is it?
It is. This is a great book right here, and it is for your 9 to 12-year-olds. It's a graphic novel, so that the kids, and which is a great way to engage reluctant readers too, is to have books that have, I'll just show you some of the pages inside. So we have, lots of great illustrations inside, not too long of paragraphs, and, the kids can really get into that and take it one chunk at a time.
What do families do? What can we do to encourage them to read? Like, it's one thing to go and say you should read, but to get that habit forming.
Well, it starts from day one, just telling stories together. So, making up stories and introducing new characters, making up characters, and, maybe you introduce a little bit of a problem, and then how are you going to resolve it? So letting kids understand how stories flow and work is a great thing. And then when they get into a book, they'll be able to put it together. And going to a library is a great thing, too.
It's a nice little trip.
Exactly. When they get to pick their own books, then they'll be more excited about it, too. So encourage them, if they pick a graphic novel or even if they pick up a sports magazine, let them pick that and let them go as long as they're reading. And for boys, I mean, there's so many fun things too. These are, top secrets, and we'll find actually that a lot of boys will go to these sort of books too, and that's not a bad thing. Sometimes there is books for girls and books for boys too, and we need to encourage that and read together and let them see you reading too.
Right. That's a really critical thing, is that mom and dad and brothers and sisters are reading as well. National Book Day. Thank you for this, Jennifer. Appreciate you coming in. To find out more about how you and your kids can experience reading together, you can pick up the May issue of Canadian Family.